we are quickly no my bo a year Ano Dompreh a year tape no a container full of a year cash ubese dollars any a year gold wo mu chese wo mu hunu amasaman Gan West na manfo ka se we a year 4194 no mu ye wo mu adwuma na se a year Ghana fo mpanyimfo bi ana wo mu ankasa no akɔwie sike bi a wo mu de AC yenkoti.
The national security has made a massive bust, seizing a large unspecified amount of US dollars and Ghana cedis, including other counterfeits, hidden in 12 20-footer shipping containers. The containers were tracked to a warehouse at Sapiman in the West municipality, where a special operation was conducted after a tip-off. The cleverly concealed currencies, mostly bundles of US dollars, was found in wooden boxes filled with cement.
Rainbow Radio.
Other boxes opened in the warehouse during the operation revealed extra currencies stashed in boxes that are barricaded with plywood and concealed with charcoal. According to the national security operatives involved in the operation, 2 containers are still on the loose, but state security trackers are hot on their trail. Meanwhile, a manhunt is underway for 4 suspects, including a ringleader known only as Alaji. The warehouse yielded even more shocking discoveries, including boxes of metals suspected to be gold bars, counterfeit notes in 50 and 100 cedis denominations, and fake Ghana Army uniforms and boots.
We are man for say we in the one here be sa lata for business here o mo kan wash biana wo mo de kwaje client and wo mo de akwhye baby na ja client no ko hunu say ye je japade bebe de wo honti tua bebe $10 million bi ansa na ye de consignment amount ana say could he also be say e asem wa ye no kra ankasa.
Yeah, Dr. Ren, I think sir adeba ko M1 say such a high profile case, you know. Say a babontina, you expect to say security no abaya Ghana for favor. Not a more attach a lot of information to it. Because a same way to say no, you can't just throw it out with limited information. About how you create room for people to speculate. So at the end of the day, you said dollars are a good wooden boxes mark 12 and yes, you can get to some account. As to whether I said dollars near fake dollars and near genuine money. Whatever, there must be some communication because at the end of the day, the issue not travel into the public space like this and it turn out now catch a Ghana for say a fake dollar or we catch us a fake dollar, a dollar partner. What's the sign with the fake yaba?
O say okay, cry. O say Alaji bi. Do me tell so Alaji baumia. Ana say bi Alaji bi fufuru bi. Ana meboa.
So once I want your tip off or carry out such operation, you know, I think that they need to do due diligence. Sabayawo serve public now. You serve us with doses of credible information about because and I've read through the various social media platforms. Limited information. So people have started creating their own version of who and who is involved. So it's a speculation kitchen and a be and will be a as to when the end true, when the end true, nothing because in some national security the buyer said they had a tip off our Gan South municipality somewhere Sapiman, a bra container and as a phone because I did way I see and yet the perfume be an a sheba be no ya deal, Dr. Ren. The magnitude of cash involved in this particular thing, as some me who gold bar and as for as to whether they are fake or not. Fake currency now. You could see this is a criminal syndicate. All pretty at a higher level. And this should be a national security concern. Say address na ya chi obi and ya chi na watching on Ghana for a party, but why, how, who is involved, to what extent, Sikano, what is the level? Is it counterfeiting as for her? So you come out with clear defining information. So that when we are speaking like this, we know where to shift the conversation to. Is the person a politician? Is it connected to anybody? Because in recent times, you say politicians, $dollars will come among Fanco Bank. You're packing or them. A man for to two or more dying home near their show near plaster. That is what they are doing. A man for $6 good poly tank him. A man for 2 form at the dollars air show because the copanga. You may be some so yan or he. A man for the secure show mom passing. And that is the Kwanya Yafaswa, yeah, Sika Ukroma saying. So when you discover such a heavy bust, and there are no much information around it, then what the remember Nipa Jinimaya that in some Nipa endim that people begin to conjecture, people begin to speculate, people begin to recreate their own version of explanation just to explain what has happened because the other information you know by because won't mean kwachisa anema bebrebe now make say one allergy yedin. That is
allergy. Hey, allergy.
And I think say you know mo yankramofo beboa allergy nyedin. So how can a whole national security ever conduct such an operation na say you pursue nipa for and then fire ho na when you nipa na mahunu say one allergy yede. And when you're ready, don't bring it out. Well, by the time I would have there should be information sharing. Because that is the essence of communication. Because as I'm not kind of nipan and say I the womb.
We be kwa kujina say send your bank for a man for send messages alaji baumia mumuni alaji baumia mumuni etu enu alaji baumia sem no wo mo kan na for vice president dada wetwe mu ana me sure say alaji baumia wan sem no kan obi wa a friend or say baron or say was he a friend is saying yes wash business IGP knows the guy long time, he works with Ghana police, he has been doing this business long time ago. Hey, it leaves room for people to speculate.
Oh yes, and at this then a criminal syndicate. They've been operating this fake dollar business, a multi-billion-dollar way. A business amount for you. And some of these monies are passed through some of the banks. People, high-profile individuals in this country are aware. Because counterfeiting, there are grades. There are some, the counter machine can read them, a buffer. So these are high-profile business amount for a year. And some of these things, I think we need to pay. And in Ghana, amount for a create US embassy will be a moment visa amount for the go US and we have US embassy US embassy baby and a brimako create or man casa US embassy. My new visas man for the coffee way too kind. So I chose that these criminal enterprises, yeah, Juma Ghana sika no so system na man for twagum. Oni nyina enti oman no ya ba ya crippled in this effect whether they are Nigerians or whatever na. Ghana ababa a hub of criminal enterprise where syndicate around the world can just converge because in the past we've heard stories of Ghana abaya rally pond with cocaine business or with the cocaine called Europe and then as a former at some point now your airport where an air transit point there has been a lot of documentary about a site Ghana as a transit point so far as this illicit legal defense and drug business is concerned. I think we need to address some of these things and the approach hasn't always been effective because I know maybe who knew now I got angry. Yes, why are they busted? But the information around and then maybe these people don't realize how widened the information space has become. And even YouTube, and I bet we began an individual be on the YouTube page or be a person feed information. So when you throw out such scanty your friends saying information on such big catcher, or be able creating a version. And a time will come, you cannot correct the narrative, even with the true fact when it comes later, because the other Tony Power game in a quarter that.
What raises another point too? So do you think it's a okay? And they will be a journalist, will be a blogger, will be a vlogger. Do you think it's about time social media nankasano they emirato to said there will be regulations and so that people will be putting in more fake news and other stuff.
Dr. Ren, one thing we need to understand is most of these social media platforms are liberal platforms, and I hope you understand that. dodona aye for the sake of your friends say free speech. Then I say for free speech, every disinformation and misinformation is a risk that is attached to it. But to say I'm crashing down or me crack it down on your friend is saying the amount for much on social media in America, they've tried a lot, but it wasn't successful. And then the man acquire Twitter and now so be more be fan candy or pay. So you may try, but you can't because my culture said we are is evolving and then you need consumers of news will be out. Consumers of news and a new pass be villages that they don't have access to internet and as a phone and obia all access to internet is not a consumer. We are all prosumers. The last time I make catch all, we are producing information and consuming at the same time. Because if I go to my Facebook page, now me post to there, you come and read. I have produced information for you to read, whether it's valid or invalid, no what kind. So I am producing at the same time, makes me read it from Obiho. So and then we are all prosumers, and I am. That is why the risk of being misinformed and I say swallow disinformation is very high. But that is the world we've come to. Your friend saying, "Baby, I have there is you can't do much about it." And unfortunately, your friend is saying, "Won't Ghana government implement and I say or regulate Facebook or regulate YouTube and I say way the best you can do is to shut it down."
So there are other countries one more when you go to the North Korea, when you go to China,
yes.
The information is being regulated as to which information that the populace know normal access.
Yeah, so these are rogue countries, people becoming enlightened, threatening the status quo. So they need to keep the people in a very way. For instance, North Korea, then as you can use phone, you can access information outside the country. Russia, even though it's expanded, but to a certain extent, that restriction then as a phone because you know the kind of governance system they run there. China, to a certain extent, use VPN. There are some platforms in as a phone you can access to. But aside these countries, the rest are liberal countries. You can't regulate. And sometimes, if you want to do something, you need to engage the big. For instance, or Twitter, they have their own set of rules. You need to engage the parent company in the US. And Sana, the best you can do is to shut it down in Ghana. But to say one very difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible, but very difficult to do. So I think that what we need to do is say a bit cautious. Now you're making sure, like I'm telling you, information when we are putting out there is clarity. It's defined in a way people can understand. The last time I met culture said, "Na papa be frame or a big man power Ghana," and I say on create only Facebook account, but obakona man for create be a man or more a dupe a man for. Now me say, don't blame those people who are creative because there is no original. You are supposed to have one. If there is no original, people will create fake. And this who will be verify that. Then honorable assume send you a message or check here said there is original one or her or who say where you fake. But because we need any one at all can represent yours. What I says that is what I'm saying. Whenever you create a vacuum, cynicism will grow because vacuum in the political space, must be filled. As to whether you it's either you fill it with information or you leave it for people to come and fill it for you. At the end of the day, it will be filled. So you better fill it so that a man for frabon say, but now fill it that one fill it, and people will fill it for you.
Uguswa wuti Rainbow Radio 92.4 FM. Yani yenuya eye Ivan Che Innocent, a socio-political activist and a social commentator. Yedidi eye and common. Somebody yabobo biswa free the aura womo enyoma womo de nkra tom dia kuma president na honwa ana president so edi kratani nyina dia ma attorney general so wonhwe na won endom wasuko na kwan bi obefa so obeje Ghana yesika bia no womo modi ano retrieve my according to the ora no much say almost a year $20 billion and as a year Attorney General Emma Efi Nenia obetimi abomodin agiria mo my Ghana musanso ne yahwe a year a kwanya a year the appointment committee the MPP boycott ene ho ansem ahodo na ensem a ye bobo so ye beko na yakwa akoti Ano Dompreh no mu asem ne wi na ye de a year OKF a year FM okay Frimpong Asante Achim North MP a wono kwa trigger the standing order 63 enho aba asem yenkwa twi yemfa twi yenja ye brofo ehon sem bebre yentie Ano Dompreh na yeba yako the OKF ohene Kwame Frimpong ne nsem odito ye godinti
so ye MPP ni mapa now we to say MPP 4 and now say MPP ni any NDC ni ekwa bo MPP ni no na yem bu NDC ni no we are giving the EC 1 week so ye MPP ni mapa now we to say MPP 4 and now say MPP ni any NDC ni ekwa MPP ni no na yem bu NDC
Radio live 92.4 FM and DAB+.
Osese we MPP ni na akoto NDC ni na se wo mo kontokwa boa MPP ni na yembu NDC ni no yembu ni yie Ivan this is an honorable minister of parliament. Your take on it?
Dr. Ren, I think that as some way Abranti we can ye asanka by now IGP are picking it
A police for no musro MPs no. Ombetimi ache no.
I think by now IGP is serious and we're picking it. Yante Kroma na manfo eye video wo selfie baby. Oh now I say adabache na IGP aduru ho. Yante Kroma na obi afa toy gun or ye bibi o social media adabache na IGP aduru ho. This is somebody or you're supposed to know better. Inciting people to beat people to the pulp. That is violence. Apart from and what demonstrated in parliament when he physically engaged in those things. So this is a guy who has demonstrated not only the willingness but also capacity. And now he's taking it out of parliament, telling people, say, go out there, beat people up. I'm not sure that radio so I can't same way. I know the dynamic family. So why should this guy be walking freely? Why he made those reckless, irresponsible comments. And that is our problem. That is the problem we are facing in this country. That is why I've always been advocating that I want serious leadership. Leadership so strong, so absolute and unwavering in its commitment to deal ruthlessly with anyone. Because and it's the reason why we are getting nowhere. Because this guy cannot make such reckless comments. And some now you wake up a day, Obi attack Obi. Obi pro Obi, Obi no fan wedi. And Sanyama way, na me free senka babia ya babeduru your politics na evolve ye koye enemy nipa omudi enim like this no ebesu nyansa akasa nyansa.
So you are saying, sir, it is the duty of the police to cause arrest of these member of parliament.
Na Dr. Ren, me kwatena onua TV sesi a ochina na meka se we tribe we ni ushia we yonko tribe we ni a bonu pra na. Do you think the police will not invite me?
And Kennedy did the same thing years ago.
So we crowd any question as any question. The IGP is supposed to. But no baby on here also fighting for niti. And because corona yatim no institutions in Yajuma. And to bet me can say be crasses we have an wadi. But wo and answer will be a coca, a journalist been a quaternary radio so can say moyanka. ye uniform asem we a wo kan media for no ko what say do say na what o makasa asem we
muntie 3 ye chi wo mu kotu mu
exactly when they didn't even demonstrate the capacity to be able to execute those things they said on radio. But this guy has demonstrated capacity. I watched it at Tiwaka Parliament. Charles and or said they will make this country ungovernable. Parliament, your friends say, not an easy place for the minority, for the majority. And your more is to subvert the smooth running of this country. And this act of subversion is a treason. Any act of subversion is treason. Because oya omamboye for our person of mind be running, and you're doing everything to ensure say a grind it to a halt. These are things we cannot joke and play normal NDC and PP politics. And that is what I'm saying, sir. You see, the NDC side, I sense some weakness. Dr. Ren.
Hey, super majority ni nyina no.
Oh, na say overseer we a super majority na want to mean demonstrate your friends say strength kwa. Because la mention wa there. Okay, Kenoforiata 2020.
Yes.
Okobet say okay.
Yes.
But proud that na so who nsembuna no wadi no kroma say.
Oh yes.
At the time we bobosia Eurobond on kwan we raise over 13 billion.
We cry a party cracker.
Exactly. Ghana for nyina to go say no, this guy then is a person. What is the NDC call parliament can say I wash your hands from him? Umubi.
Oh Debbie.
What is the NDC say you boycott? Even at the time they had equal numbers. They participated in all the processes and vetted these people, gave them a pass at the committee level. And absolute majority are to test krano. These people have the infantry to teach you. Says a bachelor's power na yenim the other year. And after marking Kwajin Su our parliament washing hands. Say Sam George wa Wakobo was here.
I was well thrown and safe a black
yes. Okuda to Adam Wabosia, the Oya Yana said, or what to fight corruption. Sam George, your Kayana or Canadian. But Kenoforiata was foolishly borrowing money. And economy need dance room. Your man for Anagalam say scandals are back or mugum. But the NDC parliamentarians then were happy to pass them. And then, you even have absolute majority. Look at the way these people are behaving. And I'm a say, oh, power. Now we name the order by ya. We better how to. And then I could for buy everything appears shocked to everybody. Because power now, man for yan in the past and say, no more did do a mohabro. I could for buy or be a man for this. We have power we near the year. We are here once again. The same trend in an echo. And the animal is a politics and your Pentecost meeting. Nekotanasi, I in Srunya Mintino, oh, Okasaka Sekra, my voice. No. This is politics. Not just any politics. This is an African version of politics. You must be very ruthless but very pragmatic and pursue it with all seriousness. You don't need to portray or show weakness. But the very moment you do that, the opponent, you are dead. And inherently, the NDC had demonstrated that weakness. And I feel you're marking enemy. The MPP side enemy. So intrinsically, these people are weak within. So even with the minority now, we can still run the show. And indeed, they are running the show.
And the walk no crano, a year and they okuje to a black crack cases you say MPP kwaye omo NDC kwaye omo kokosa e fa wo mo ho a enye se obi biate no afenyo markings e frɛ no e ka de wo mo kwaye ye no say there's a mole in the NDC a wo no angaza no say even though they are super majority na say nneoma nko he
they are most everywhere politics not here. Because there are candidates in the NDC side, the other side will sponsor. There are candidates in the other side, the MPP will sponsor. That norm, no. Now, say I could for by Jubilee House, no be any, but there be an information likiba. O free and find an free ba.
Ne from wow, and they don't tell the mammy cry, and then no more the mammy pa.
So what's the politics?
Ube say about Umia boys, you know, must send me. Ube who know yeah, Kennedy in Cove, we know the abre, and you know, correct.
So what the politics I say, the issue of more, the end, I don't know, it's part of the politics. You can't control it. You can't stop it, but you can maybe control it to a certain level. So I know, but the thing is, it's all part of the intrinsic weakness now. What show? Give the other side the advantage. Or they know, say, omunimo. Ano Dompreh you say, lady be a friend, something head castle, or say,
MFA, a head castle. Yes, hard castle.
Yes, a side show. It wasn't the main show. It was a side show, an altercation between two people. As some Edru baby, I'm told that the NDC side were forcing that the woman should apologize.
And the painful no crowd more than MPP NDC and no crack can say man yes Alpha Haruna money I almost can say my many casan in train to Uncle Pacho.
Now, according to close sources, some people were telling Sam George say they all apologize to MPP na Sam Fana Semenko.
Oh, and the Sam Jata crowd after we innovating I've gotten the chance to say me in the bay tata be no or car send a young coupon was someone and then no cry walk the true shot set us free. Tia dear, Obeko be a chow. To a more percranoa position opa, a moment farmer, and still he will go on and do the duty because or no one am swa or no born who they wrote PM as MP. And no credit or Obeka.
Yes, because as a young person, you must be guided by your conscience. And I respect him for standing on his ground. But it got to a point, his own side, people were persuading him, so when you show and demonstrate that weakness, your opponent will never respect you. That is what I'm saying. So the even though the MPP side now a minority, they don't respect the NDC, despite the numbers. And I think, sir, Omoa need to wake up and work on themselves. No, who said politics no and Pentecost meeting and no motiasi and politics na yeah. And if you continue to show this weakness, trust me, nobody will respect you. And they need to do that.
Politics in your Pentecost there.
And your Pentecost meeting now, add our higher ferry no, cron my radio. There's a can't say yeah, no, Sansem, who know we don't do it in politics. So politics. So when you are acting, the only barrier you have is your conviction. Once it's able to filter and you know, say what you're doing is just absolute and it is right, you just go full gear. You don't look back, you don't look sideways.
Wow.
That weakness, and the idea, hinder the progress of Parliament. Emma among for at this early stage, or who majority no some faso BM because still the minority is running the show. So they are comfortable to call themselves the mighty minority. I think they need to set up.
I was here, Rainbow Radio 92.4 FM, DAB Plus, Manchester, DAB Plus, Milton Keynes, DAB London. Drive Talk and the every Monday, a year. Ivan Che Innocent, social political activist, a social commentator. Nyamia Aduma watch na. Congratulations, Kesia, your day man or graduate. The masters were born home than why Ivan, when say a time, in 2 minutes, na all wrap up, what kind a year. Tree wa parliament among for so you crasini one carbon to mean cabro for just say and somebody be minimum say a time we've got about 3 minutes to go to Ghana and bring the news Nyankunto your take on it and then you wrap up with it.
Oh, but I'm not sure, sir. I don't know why people are making it so difficult. I've listened to the gentleman, so I wonder why a man for say to me in Canberra for. He speaks so well. So I don't know where this thing is coming from.
Obi yɛne London here or no to Manchester or businesses companies Manchester is one table of no peso country.
No, you see, the official language for parliamentary business